Emmanuel, God is with us. Emmanuel, God is with us. I just thought I'd give you an update on my greedy flower planting of late bulbs. As you can see, my gypsy queens are up and running. One didn't come out and flower good, but I had two that flowered good and one didn't, so that's not a big deal. The pot's probably just too small, probably better for two. And then if you look, there's my lily coming through. Then we have some tulips. How many tulips? One tulip over here rotted, but I have two tulips that have come through, and I don't see any other tulips. The daffodils, all three of them came through just fine. So if you were wondering, I piled it up, and you can see the daffodils there on top. The hyacinths came through, but the pot was too small for three of them. And I have 5 more tulips in there that I do not see, so maybe they were too short to make it to the top. I don't know. I'll find out in time. But I have some tulips. I have 2 tulips, and I'm gonna repot this because I want it in a bigger pot now that everybody's up, you know, and maybe that'll give this one a little energy to grow. But next year I'll just start out with a bigger pot because it's very successful. Very happy. Okay, we're gonna pot up our lily tower that you've seen the video of me making. I'm trying to show it to you here. There. So 2 of the hyacinths have bloomed. I don't think there's enough room for them because this one came up shallow, like it didn't have room for its roots, so I'm going to move it to a bigger pot. The lily is fine. There's a lily right there. You get lilies all the time in this size pot, and they do just fine. But I have these cheap pots I got from the 99-cent store. Nothing fancy, but it's an 11-inch pot, so that's good. And here's my dirt. I use cheap dirt from Home Depot, the cheapest I can get. And I'm just going to pile all of this in my pot. So nothing fancy. It's whatever they put in there. And I'll just continue on with this. Did you know that bees use hyacinths as a hotel? If you look in there, see the little bee body resting in the sun, and I can see quite a few bees living in my hyacinths. So if you don't want a whole lot of clutter, but you'd like to provide some bee hotels, see it? Those are bees. You can see the other ones that don't have bees are pink. This is Gypsy Queen. Well, they just sold me. I now see a purpose for these because I thought, oh, the bees don't really like them. They don't get a whole lot of pollen out of them. Well, some bees live in my spring haul of flowers. I got this from Tulip World, and they sent me 3 tuberose. Let me see, do they say where these came from? Because I know most of the tuberose come from Texas. So I got 3. They say they bloom in summer. You space them 6 to 8 inches apart,
and you just plant them 2 feet deep, and they get 2 to 4 foot tall. That's mostly the flower. The actual plant, I think, is maybe about 1 foot or so tall. I don't say where it comes from, but I got 3 tuberose there. They feel a little light. I got to get those planted right away. Let's see. This is a bleeding heart. It feels a little light too. Got to get that planted right away. And these are, everything feels a little light, even though these just came in. This is Sporacus. It's a little short bulb, but it's really pretty. And it blooms midsummer. It's really pretty. And then we have some more freesias. And it's a little late for me to plant freesias, but for everybody else, this is a good time to plant freesias. I prefer the freesias from easy to grow bulbs because they give you really big ones. This is a budget. These bulbs are half the size of the ones that you get from easy to grow, but you get 50 of these, so we'll see how they do for me. Okay, so we got our dirt in here. I'm just gonna take a couple of these. They don't look the best condition, but you guys, it was a tough year for Texas. I think these usually come from Texas. So put a couple of those down, and then I'll put a couple in another pot at a later time. Got the 2 in there, and I put some freesias around them. Now I'm going to take some of these little Sporaxes and put them on the outer space. So they say you can put bulbs a lot closer in a pot, but because I am going to layer my spring bulbs, these are my summer bulbs, so I'm just layering up my layering because when the spring bulbs go out, the summer bulbs will be coming up underneath them, which is great fun. This one does not. Okay, it's okay. So that one's good. So that's the summer bulbs going in just in one layer. And now I'm going to put the spring bulbs on top. You can see the bulbs that were on the second level are delayed, and the bulbs that are on the top was what was flowering now. And now I'm going to just cover this up with soil. And those who were coming along will be able to come much faster. Yeah. And I'll just show you this after I'm finished. This is all I'm doing.